Hey class, today we talked about, in the Zoom lesson, we talked about human population growth and carrying capacity. So we started off with, we look at this chart right here, it shows you several events in human history that have influenced the size of the human population. The table shows you that, I'm going to go right down to the Industrial Revolution. In the Industrial Revolution, all of a sudden, if you notice that the human population started to increase. Okay, and we can see that in a J-shaped curve. And what we have is we have time, and what we see is about 1800, which would represent the Industrial Revolution. All of a sudden, the human population just exploded in an exponential growth. So we have human population in billions. Realistically, with time, humans did not increase their overall number on the earth until the Industrial Revolution. Okay, about right here. And that was basically because in the Industrial Revolution you had factories and you had assembly line. So example is Henry Ford could only make 500 cars before the assembly line in factories, and then all of a sudden now he can make thousands and thousands of cars in one um, month, where he could maybe make 500 in, before the Industrial Revolution. So that's just one example of many of the industries that just were able to make a lot of products. You make a lot of products, you make a lot of money. You make a lot of money, you're going to bring home a lot of money to your family. You bring home a lot of money to your family. What's going to happen is you can have more kids because you can feed them, and then what happens is the population explodes because everybody is just making a whole bunch of money. The point is that the Industrial Revolution allowed man to populate and be able to sustain. So this is a J-shaped curve, okay? In humans, bacteria, and algae, they're the only things that can grow exponentially. There's just nothing that limits them. So what is it called? It's called a J-shaped curve. It's exponential growth that happens during ideal conditions. There's plenty of food, there's shelter, there's unlimited resources. There's no limiting factors, no factors that are limited in their population. The population is just explosion. Okay, now there are two types of curves, okay? There's also an S-shaped curve. And all other animals on Earth undergo an S-shaped curve, okay, except for humans and some bacteria, algae. All other animals undergo S-shaped curve. What happens is a horizontal line um, where the growth of the population levels off right here. So what happens is you introduce an organism to an environment, and they reproduce, and the population just explodes exponentially. But then all of a sudden, this is the number of individuals in the population. All of a sudden, they level off, and they just stay at that particular level, and that's called the carrying capacity. It's an S-shaped curve. Okay, resources availability will cause the population to level off over time. What does that mean? Okay, well, the carrying capacity, the number of individuals in a population that an environment can support over a long period of time. As growth continues, the environment's resources are shared by more and more individuals. Eventually, some resources are in short supply and become a limiting factor. What determines an environment's carrying capacity? Things that prevent a population from growing any larger. What are those things? Limiting factors. What are limiting factors? Abiotic and biotic factors. Your biotic factors are competition, predation, and parasitism, disease. Just like what's going on right now, we have COVID-19, and what is it doing? It's causing a decrease in the population. What does a limiting factor do? A limiting factor, okay, limits the growth of a population. It causes a decrease in the population, okay, like COVID-19 is a disease. Okay. Abiotic factors, natural disasters, now human disturbances. We learned a lot about human disturbances. We know that deforestation is causing the decrease in populations. I gave you an example of deer population. And in my backyard, I have deer, they eat my berries, okay? And these deer live in the woods. But if we cut down all the trees, is what's going on. That's why they're in my backyard. If we cut down all the trees, deforestation, the population is going to decrease. Okay, that is a limiting factor. It is a factor that causes the population to decrease, and it's those limiting factors that actually cause a population in an ecosystem to have a carrying capacity. Okay, basically, it is the number of individuals in a population an environment can handle. It only can handle so much. Okay, realistically, what happens is you have exponential growth, and then what happens is maybe there's a predator that eats up all of that organism, and so they decrease and decrease and decrease. And then the predator doesn't have food, so then the organism can increase because it's not getting eaten much, and then it decreases and increases, and this up and down is just a flat line, which is the carrying capacity, and we see it here in an S-shaped curve. Carrying capacity, okay.